Ronan Vey's hands shook as he crawled through the narrow wreck of the freighter. Sparks flew from exposed wires, and the hull groaned under the weight of shifting debris. He had come for scavenged parts, not adventure, but something about the sky made him freeze. A streak of fire tore across the planet's thin atmosphere, bigger than any falling debris he'd seen before. His heart skipped. The object plummeted fast, burning bright. Ronan ducked instinctively as a shockwave rattled the freighter. Pieces of metal whirled like deadly petals, slicing through the air. Then he saw it, a huge shape, wings spread wide but ragged, scales glinting in the firelight. Not a ship. Not a drone. A creature. A dragon. It hit the ground with a deafening crash, throwing dust and rubble into the low-gravity sky. The ground quaked beneath Ronan's feet. The dragon's body convulsed, one wing bent at an impossible angle. Sparks and smoke hissed from its wounds. Its eyes, wide and intelligent, flickered with pain, and something else. A call. Not words, but a sound that tugged at Ronan's chest, a pulse that felt almost like a heartbeat echoing through the air. Without thinking, Ronan leapt into his gravjet, ignoring the risk. Every second counted. The storm around the planet whipped metal shards like knives. "Hold together," he muttered, gripping the controls. "I've got to reach it." The wind tore at his suit, and alarms blared as the freighter's unstable hull shook violently. But Ronan didn't care. He had to reach the dragon before it died, or before the scavengers spotted it. The creature's head twisted toward him as he approached. Its breath hissed through cracked scales, sending a hot, metallic scent into the thin air. Ronan's stomach knotted. He had seen danger before, but nothing like this. The dragon was enormous, yet in pain and fragile. It seemed aware, almost pleading. He felt an odd kinship instantly, a need to protect it even though it was alien, even though he barely understood it. Then a new danger. A security drone long dormant in the freighter, powered up unexpectedly. Its scanners locked on him and a laser fired a heartbeat too late. Ronan swerved, the blast grazing his gravjet. Sparks rained around him, but he stayed on course. The dragon whimpered, a low, mournful sound, and raised a wing in defense. The drone fired again. Every instinct screamed to dive for cover, but he couldn't leave the creature behind. Ronan landed hard, dust and small rocks flying. He rolled to his feet and ran toward the dragon. Its eyes tracked him, wide with confusion and fear. One of its wings twitched, a flicker of pain, yet it moved slightly closer. "I won't hurt you," he said aloud, though he knew the dragon could not understand words. Somehow he felt the sound mattered. A pulse of trust flickered in those amber eyes. The drone hovered closer, its weapons powered, ready to fire again. Ronan's hands flew across a portable control panel, improvising a jam on its targeting system. Sparks and error lights flashed. The drone hesitated, confused. That small window was all he needed. He shoved himself in front of the dragon, using his body as a shield. The drone fired, a beam grazed his shoulder, but the dragon was safe. Pain shot through him, but he barely noticed. Relief surged when the dragon's low growl changed, softening almost like a whisper. He trusted him. Ronan grabbed a piece of debris, improvising a brace to support the dragon's broken wing. He had no medical tools for this kind of creature, no instruction manual for alien anatomy, but he worked quickly, every second precious. The dragon flinched, hissed, but didn't lash out. Its head lowered slightly as if acknowledging his help. His fingers shook, but he held firm. A small, trembling victory, but one that mattered. He had bought them both time. Suddenly the ground quaked again. Ronan's eyes shot upward. From the jagged horizon, another streak of fire appeared. Larger, faster, and moving directly toward them. Something was coming. Not just scavengers this time. Something more, something that might threaten them both. The dragon tensed, wings quivering. Ronan grabbed its jaw gently, steadying it. "We'll make it," he whispered, though he wasn't sure he believed it. A sharp crack split the air as a massive shadow fell across them, cutting off the sky. The dragon hissed, thrashing under the unknown threat. Ronan's stomach dropped. Whatever was coming, it was huge. And it was heading straight for them. He tightened his grip on the dragon, ready to act, knowing one wrong move could kill them both. A pulse of energy rippled from the dragon's chest, almost like a heartbeat visible in the dim light. The air shimmered. Ronan felt it deep in his bones. This creature wasn't just alive. It was something far more than he had imagined. Something dangerous. Something magnificent. And somehow, inexplicably, it had chosen him. As the shadow drew closer, Ronan's mind raced. Can I save it? Can I survive this? The answer didn't matter. He had no choice. He had to try. Then, just as the shadow loomed over them, a crackling sound erupted, a sharp electric tear in the sky above. The dragon roared, a sound that vibrated through Ronan's chest, and a sudden force knocked him to the ground. Dust and sparks filled the air. His eyes widened. The world had just shifted, and whatever came next would change everything. Ronan's lungs burned as he scrambled to his feet, dust still choking the air. The shadow overhead vanished as quickly as it appeared, leaving an eerie silence. He glanced at the dragon. Its wing was bent at a strange angle, and a thin line of sparks flickered along its scales like veins of molten metal. The creature lowered its head toward him, panting, eyes wide with pain and distrust. He took a deep breath. "All right, we fixed this. Somehow." The words sounded small, almost foolish, against the roaring wind and the planet's unstable gravity, but he meant them. He couldn't just survive, he couldn't leave the dragon to die here. Not when it had chosen him. The freighter was in ruins, but some sections remained intact. He pulled the dragon toward a hollowed-out cargo bay, using the gravjet thrusters to keep the creature steady. Every step was a struggle. The dragon groaned, scales scraping against twisted metal, but Ronan ignored the pain in his shoulder from the drone strike. Each movement mattered. Every second wasted could be its last. Inside the bay, the walls were scarred, wires hanging like broken vines. He started scavenging, energy cells, mechanical braces, conduits, anything that could stabilize the dragon's wing. He had no idea if it would work, but he had to try. Humans survived because they acted, not because they knew. That thought pushed him forward. The dragon hissed suddenly, a long, low sound that vibrated through the floor. Ronan froze. Its eyes flared, glowing faintly in a way that made him step back. Sparks crackled along the wing. Something within it reacted to him, or the environment. Was it pain? Anger? Fear? Or something else entirely? He didn't know, but he had to understand quickly. He grabbed a loose support beam and rigged it across the wing, jerry-rigging the braces with wires and a few energy conduits. Every connection he made caused the dragon to flinch, but Ronan murmured soft reassurances. "I'm not leaving you," he said. "We'll get through this." His voice was calm even though his heart pounded. A human calm in the middle of chaos can sometimes be stronger than any weapon. A sudden crash rattled the bay. Ronan looked up. Scavenger drones were moving toward the crash site, scanning for life signs. Their lights cut across the bay like blades. The dragon growled, low and guttural, and its tail lashed in response. Ronan realized the creature was defensive, trying to understand the threat. He had seconds to act. He snatched a broken energy cell and rigged a makeshift EMP pulse, careful to avoid touching the dragon. The pulse sparked and flared, and the drones froze mid-scan, circuits buzzing. A small victory. The scavenger's advance stalled, giving Ronan the time he needed to finish the brace. The dragon flinched one last time as he tightened the last connection. Its wing was stabilized enough to move slightly, and it gave a quiet, almost satisfied growl. Ronan slumped against a crate, sweat stinging his eyes. Relief hit him briefly, but it was fragile. The planet's magnetic storms were worsening, whipping through the valley and tearing at the freighter's hull. Dust and lightning arcs made the air thick and dangerous. "We're not out of this yet," he muttered. The dragon tilted its head as if understanding him. Its amber eyes reflected a glimmer of trust. He needed a plan. The dragon was powerful but injured. He was human but clever. Together they had a chance, but only if he acted fast. He started rigging a power conduit to stabilize the dragon's energy fields. The creature shivered as he touched the glowing veins along its scales, but didn't pull away. The connection seemed symbiotic. Sparks jumped between human and alien, and Ronan felt a surge of adrenaline. A tiny, thrilling payoff. The dragon's wing twitched, almost obediently. The silence was broken by another sound, this time from the planet itself. The ground shuddered under something massive moving in the distance. Ronan's stomach dropped. The scavengers weren't the only problem. Whatever had cast that shadow before was returning, larger and closer. The dragon hissed, emitting a strange, high-pitched sound that vibrated through Ronan's chest. It was a warning. Ronan grabbed a control panel from the freighter wall, improvising a shield generator. He pressed buttons, rerouted power, and held his breath. Sparks flew. The dragon's chest shimmered faintly with energy, almost like a heartbeat glowing under its scales. The shield flickered to life, a bubble of protection. Dust and debris bounced harmlessly off. Another small win, but fleeting. He glanced at the dragon. Its head lowered slightly, a silent acknowledgement. A bond was forming. He had saved its life, and in turn, it had stabilized the immediate danger. Human courage, human intelligence, human determination. These small actions had real, tangible results. Even in the face of impossible odds they could survive. Then the bay shuddered violently. A bright, blinding flash lit the walls. Ronan spun toward the source. A massive ship, or something alive, enormous, metallic and moving, had appeared in the sky above the planet. Its shadow fell over the valley, stretching like a black tide. The dragon growled, wings flaring, and Ronan's pulse surged. The danger had escalated beyond anything he had imagined. He didn't hesitate. He grabbed the dragon's jaw gently, speaking in a soft, urgent voice. "We fight. We survive. Together." Its eyes met his glowing amber, and for the first time Ronan felt that the creature understood him completely. The storm, the scavengers, the unknown behemoth above. Nothing could stop them if they acted as one. A sudden screech of metal against metal shattered the tense moment. Something had landed nearby, faster than anything he could track. Dust whipped into the air. Ronan's stomach twisted. The next second could change everything. Ronan pressed himself against the cargo bay wall, heart hammering. The enormous shadow above the valley shifted, and a low rumble echoed through the floor. He glanced at the dragon. Its wings twitched, scales gleaming faintly, as if sensing the danger in a way he couldn't yet understand. He had no choice, he had to move. "Stay close," he whispered. The dragon lowered its head, almost nodding as if it understood. Ronan grabbed the portable work tools he had scavenged and ran toward the freighter's upper deck, where the dragon's injured wing could get some space. Every step kicked up dust. Every sound set his nerves on edge. Something massive was approaching, faster than he could track. He found a section of the freighter still intact, a small control room with panels and blinking lights. Ronan had barely opened the door when he noticed something strange. The dragon's scales shimmered under the flickering lights. Not just light, but shapes, lines, and symbols faintly etched into its armored hide. He leaned closer, heart racing. Coordinates. Star maps. A grid of unknown constellations stretched across its shoulder plate like a cosmic blueprint. Ronan's mind reeled. This isn't just a creature. It's a living vessel. A key. He didn't fully understand it yet, but instinct told him the dragon held secrets that could change the galaxy. He crouched, fingers brushing over the lines. Energy pulses ran along the etchings. The dragon's eyes fixed on him, unblinking, amber and intelligent, and something in that gaze told him it was willing to trust him, if he knew what to do. The rumble grew louder. The unknown behemoth above the valley moved closer, and scavenger drones swarmed from the edges of the freighter. Ronan had seconds to act. He grabbed a small interface panel and began improvising a connection to the dragon's energy pulses. He didn't know what he was doing, but humans survived because they tried even when the odds were impossible. Sparks flew as circuits merged with alien energy veins. The dragon flinched, a low growl vibrating through its chest, but it did not retreat. A tiny pulse of light moved along the etchings, responding to Ronan's commands. The panels beeped in rhythm with the dragon's own energy. He felt it, an almost symbiotic connection forming. "We can do this. We have to." Then came the first attack. Scavenger drones burst through the doorway, weapons blazing. Ronan barely had time to react. He smashed one with a loose conduit, sending sparks flying. The dragon hissed, wings flaring, and instinctively swung its tail with immense force. One drone exploded on contact, the rest scattered. Ronan's improvised system pulsed in response, amplifying the dragon's reaction. It was terrifying and beautiful. They fought as one. Breathing heavily, Ronan realized something else. The dragon's wing, partially stabilized, had begun moving more smoothly. Its energy field, partially unlocked, could shield both of them if they coordinated. The small micro-victory filled him with adrenaline. He had turned improvisation into action, action into survival. The dragon's trust deepened. But then the real shock came. As he traced a glowing line along its scales, a panel lit up unexpectedly, revealing more than star maps. Symbols of technology, coordinates, even schematics for weapons he could barely comprehend. The dragon was built, or enhanced, for something far greater than a planet-bound crash. It was a relic of an ancient civilization, one capable of shaping galaxies. And somehow, it had survived until now, alone, wounded, seeking him. The dragon let out a low, resonant hum, vibrating through the control room. Ronan flinched at first, then realized it was reacting to his pulse, his touch, his presence. The connection wasn't just mechanical, it was emotional. For the first time he felt a sense of partnership, a shared purpose that transcended species. Humans could adapt. Humans could survive. Humans could lead. That was the power he was feeling now. A sudden metallic screech made him spin. Another behemoth, smaller than the one above but faster and armored, had landed on the freighter's outer deck. Its shadow stretched across the room like a threat. The dragon tensed, wings flaring again, energy pulsing along its veins in response. Ronan knew they were outnumbered and outmatched. But he also knew something crucial. The dragon was alive, intelligent, and now partially in sync with him. Together they could survive what seemed impossible. Ronan grabbed a panel and began rerouting power to the dragon's leg stabilizers. Sparks flew across his hands. The dragon hissed, then flinched, its energy resonating with the improvised circuits. The leg lifted slightly. A small win, but enough to prove he could influence the dragon's movements. Every micro-action counted. Every heartbeat mattered. From the window he saw the massive behemoth above. It shifted, scanning the valley, unaware of the connection forming below. That gave him a narrow window. If he could fully synchronize with the dragon, they could escape before the larger threat attacked. But it would require complete trust and courage. Ronan's pulse raced. I can do this. I have to. He placed his palm flat against the dragon's chest, feeling the heat, the pulse, the strange alien rhythm that now seemed almost familiar. We move together, he whispered. The dragon's eyes narrowed slightly, then widened, amber light flaring like acknowledgement. The etchings pulsed brighter. For the first time, Ronan felt the creature respond, not just instinctively but purposefully. They were partners. Just as he prepared to move, a loud explosion rocked the freighter. Dust and sparks filled the room. The dragon roared, a sound of fury, fear, and power all at once, and lashed out. Ronan's heart leapt. They had survived the immediate threat, but whatever was coming next would test both their courage and their bond. The star maps, the secret technology, the looming enemies, they were all pieces of something bigger. And now Ronan knew one undeniable truth. They were no longer just survivors. They were a team. And whatever came next, they would face it together. From outside, a strange shimmer appeared in the storm. The larger behemoth had begun moving again, faster and with purpose. The dragon growled low, the air trembling. Ronan gritted his teeth. The next move could change everything. Ronan's chest heaved as he climbed onto the dragon's back, heart pounding in rhythm with its pulse. The freighter's control room was a mess of sparks and twisted metal, but there was no time to look back. The behemoth above the valley had shifted, its shadow stretching across the wreck like a living storm. Every second they hesitated increased the chance of death. The dragon tensed beneath him, wings quivering, but Ronan's hands found grips along the thick, shimmering scales. He spoke softly, more to calm himself than the creature. We fly. Together. Now. The dragon hissed low, a sound of anticipation and fury. Its amber eyes locked onto his, and for the first time Ronan felt that shared understanding. The fight was theirs and theirs alone. Below, scavenger drones swarmed the freighter like insects. Ronan didn't need to tell the dragon. They reacted in perfect sync. The dragon's tail lashed, sending drones spinning into the wreckage. Sparks erupted as energy pulses from its chest shot out, short-circuiting the attacker's systems. Ronan gritted his teeth, using his improvised controls to amplify the pulses, rerouting power from a damaged energy cell. The dragon flinched at first, but then a smooth, powerful resonance surged through it. They moved as one. The storm outside howled, magnetic winds tearing at the valley. Ronan felt the freighter tremble under them, but the dragon flexed its wings, energy surging along its veins. It was alive, wounded, and powerful. A perfect storm of danger and possibility. He grabbed the straps and leaned forward, whispering instructions. The dragon responded, adjusting its flight pattern. Small victories. They dodged falling debris, weaved through jagged rock spires and surged upward, escaping the planet's unstable surface. Then came the first real shock. The larger behemoth loomed closer, moving with terrifying speed, its shadow blotting out the sky. Its metallic scales gleamed with energy, each movement precise, hunting them. Ronan's stomach clenched. They couldn't fight it directly, they were human and dragon against a living fortress. But he remembered the maps, the glowing etchings, the pulse patterns. If he could synchronize fully with the dragon, they might just have a chance to survive. He pressed his hands against the dragon's scales, heart racing. Now. Full focus. Listen to me. Sparks flared along the veins of its wings. The dragon's chest glowed brighter than ever, pulsing to Ronan's rhythm. A surge of energy shot outward, disrupting the behemoth's sensors. The massive creature hesitated, giving them a sliver of time. Ronan leaned forward, guiding the dragon toward a narrow canyon, twisting between jagged cliffs at impossible angles. The wind tore at them, but the dragon's trust in him held firm. Below, scavenger drones regrouped, trying to intercept. The dragon flared its wings, energy arcs slicing through the attackers like lightning. One drone exploded mid-air, another collided with the canyon wall. Ronan felt a rush of satisfaction. They were surviving. Every decision mattered. Every action had consequences. Then a micro-cliffhanger moment. A jagged rock face loomed too close. Ronan screamed, leaning forward, gripping tighter. The dragon banked sharply, wings straining, energy pulses blazing along its back. Sparks flew as its tail slammed a massive boulder into the canyon side, clearing the path. Ronan held on, heart hammering, a mix of fear and exhilaration surging through him. Small victory, but fleeting. The storm worsened. Magnetic arcs of electricity danced across the cliffs, striking unpredictably. The behemoth above roared, a metallic thunderclap that rattled Ronan's teeth. The dragon's wings shuddered, energy pulses reacting violently. A misstep here would be fatal. But Ronan didn't hesitate. "Trust me," he shouted, voice barely audible over the storm. The dragon roared back, wings snapping forward with power and precision. They surged upward through the storm, a perfect blend of human ingenuity and alien instinct. The next surprise, the canyon opened into a vast crater, and within it strange ruins glimmered faintly under the storm's light. The dragon's pulse quickened as if recognizing something ancient. Ronan's jaw tightened. The maps. The secrets etched into its scales, they were here. He realized this wasn't just survival. This was discovery. The dragon was guiding them toward something bigger than either of them alone. Then came the real test. The behemoth above adjusted its flight, descending rapidly. It fired a series of energy blasts. Ronan ducked instinctively, barely avoiding a strike that would have torn them apart. The dragon roared, flaring energy pulses in response. Ronan worked the improvised interface, amplifying the pulses with precise timing. Sparks erupted, and for a brief, breathtaking moment, the behemoth faltered, its energy field flickering. Small payoff. Their improvisation had worked just enough to keep them alive. They shot out of the crater, the wind tearing at their bodies, debris flying past like bullets. Ronan clung to the dragon, shouting encouragement. The bond they had formed, human courage and alien power, had become unstoppable, at least for now. Every instinct, every calculation, every heartbeat mattered. The impossible was becoming possible. Finally, they cleared the planet's magnetic storm, rising into calm orbit. Ronan collapsed against the dragon's scales, chest heaving. The valley below looked tiny like a model, yet the danger had been real. The dragon's chest pulsed in sync with his heartbeat. He reached out, touching its scales, and it leaned into him slightly. Mutual trust. Mutual respect. They had survived what no human or dragon alone could endure. But the climax wasn't over. From the edge of the crater, a faint shimmer of light appeared, something moving beneath the ruins. Ronan squinted. His pulse quickened. Whatever it was watching. And whatever came next, he realized, was bigger than just survival. The maps, the dragon, the unknown enemy above, they were all part of something far greater. Ronan whispered almost to himself, "This isn't over. Not by a long shot." The dragon's eyes glowed amber, almost as if agreeing. Together they had survived the impossible. Together they would face whatever came next. And beyond the horizon, a secret waited, one that could change the stars. Ronan collapsed against the dragon's warm, glowing scales, lungs burning, heart hammering. Below them, the planet shrank to a distant curve, the magnetic storms finally dying away. For a moment, silence settled over the pair, broken only by the dragon's slow, resonant pulse, almost like a heartbeat. The terror and chaos of the past hours seemed distant, but Ronan knew better. Survival had been hard-won, and the galaxy still held secrets waiting for them. He traced the glowing etchings on the dragon's scales with trembling fingers. The maps, the coordinates, the ancient schematics, they were all here, etched into the creature's very being. Somehow, this dragon had carried knowledge that could shape stars, civilizations, and perhaps even the fate of entire worlds. The weight of that realization pressed down on him, yet instead of fear, he felt determination. Humans were clever, courageous, adaptable, and that was exactly what was needed now. The dragon shifted beneath him, wings fluttering slightly, and let out a low, melodic hum. Ronan smiled faintly. He understood the sound as trust and perhaps even gratitude. This creature, wounded and alone, had chosen him. Together they had survived impossible odds, fought enemies bigger than themselves, and conquered storms that could have ended both of their lives. But now, beyond survival came understanding. They had a shared purpose. Ronan stood carefully, hands still on the dragon's scales. "We did it," he whispered. The dragon's eyes, glowing amber in the fading light, seemed to acknowledge him. It tilted its head slightly, wings flexing as if ready to rise again. He realized that the bond between them was no accident. It was trust forged in danger, in improvisation, and in courage. Every choice he had made, every risk he had taken, had mattered. Every human instinct, from problem-solving to compassion, had changed their fate. Below the dragon, the crater from the storm revealed faint ruins, barely visible through the dust and shadow. Ronan's pulse quickened. That shimmer of light he had seen during the flight, something was waiting there. Something ancient, something powerful. It was a reminder that their journey was far from over. He could almost hear the galaxy calling, whispering secrets that only humans could unlock because humans dared to act. He crouched and gently tapped the dragon's chest. "We need to study this," he said. "We need to understand what you carry and why." The dragon lowered its head closer as if agreeing. Its wings flexed, stretching across the orbiting freighter like shields of living metal and energy. Ronan realized that they were more than allies. They were partners, combining human ingenuity and courage with the dragon's extraordinary power. Together they could face whatever came next. The freighter's wreckage below looked insignificant now, a reminder of the chaos they had endured. But Ronan's mind raced. The scavenger drones, the behemoth, the storm, they were temporary threats. The real challenge lay in what the dragon's maps represented. Lost civilizations, technologies far older than any human had encountered, secrets that could change star systems. And now he held the key with the dragon at his side. As they rose higher into orbit, Ronan activated a salvaged communication console. He sent out a pulse, scanning nearby systems for signals of the ancient civilization indicated on the dragon's scales. Coordinates blinked on the interface, promising answers and dangers alike. The dragon's pulse quickened in response as if excited. Ronan felt a thrill of possibility. Humans survived by thinking, by daring, by taking responsibility, and right now that meant guiding this creature and unlocking the legacy it carried. A sudden shimmer flickered at the edge of the planet's shadow. Something moved among the ruins. Ronan's eyes narrowed. It was not a scavenger. Not a drone. Something watched them, something ancient and aware. The dragon growled softly and Ronan instinctively tightened his grip. Their bond had kept them alive, and now it would prepare them for what was coming. Every lesson from the past hours, the improvisation, the courage, the small victories, was proof humans could rise to challenges beyond comprehension. Ronan let out a long breath, chest still heaving. "We'll need a plan," he said quietly. "But first, we rest. Together." The dragon lowered itself into orbit, hovering, wings folded slightly, its pulse slowing but steady. In that quiet moment, the galaxy felt vast, alive, and full of possibilities. And he knew that survival was just the beginning. Humans were not merely passengers in the cosmos. They were architects of destiny when they dared to act. He glanced once more at the glowing maps etched along the dragon's scales. "The stars are waiting," he whispered. The dragon hummed softly in reply, wings stretching wide, ready to fly again. There was a sense of anticipation, of a path forward that was bigger than either of them alone. Ronan felt it deep in his bones. The adventure was far from over, and whatever lay ahead, they would face it together. From the far edge of orbit, a faint pulse shimmered, a mysterious energy signature, ancient and powerful, moving through the ruins below. Ronan's eyes widened. Whatever had been watching them, it had waited. And now it was moving. The dragon growled low, wings flexing, ready. Ronan gritted his teeth and held on. "Ready?" he whispered, more to himself than anyone else. The dragon's eyes flared amber. The stars stretched out before them, infinite and dangerous, full of mystery. And Ronan knew one undeniable truth. Humans survived, humans adapted, humans shined. And now, together with this extraordinary creature, they would change the fate of the stars. As they launched forward into the unknown, the faint pulse below seemed to shift, almost acknowledging their ascent. Ronan's heart raced with anticipation and wonder. The adventure was just beginning. The galaxy was vast, alive, and full of challenges that only humans with courage and intelligence could meet. The next secret waited. The next danger waited. And Ronan and the dragon would face it side by side. The universe had changed for them, and they were ready.